There's an amazing charitable event being held at the Pine Lakes International Country Club, otherwise known as the Granddaddy. We'll tell you all about it coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Pine Lakes Country Club. We're focused on the American Cancer Society's Cattle Barons Ball, which will be held here this Saturday night. And we're visiting with Michele Winstead, the Community Income Manager for the American Cancer Society's Southeast Division. Good morning, Michele.
Good morning, Greg. Thank you for having me.
It's a big title there.
Well, it's a lot of fun.
The Community Income Manager,
yes.
I mean, you're obviously out in the community constantly.
Yes, I am. I'm in the community, and that's the fun part about it, being out there meeting people. It's the fundraising side of the American Cancer Society, and I do all the Relays for Life, the galas, the golf tournaments, things like that.
Golly, and slammed all the time.
Yes.
I think we've got your husband coming in later in the week. It'll be exciting to see how slammed you are. I know he probably thinks you're out all the time. Real quick about yourself, Michele. Are you originally from the area?
I'm originally from Columbia, South Carolina. But, you know, like most people, I feel like Myrtle Beach is my home because I grew up coming here. But so when I moved back here, I really felt at home.
When did you finally move to the area?
It was about 8 years ago from North Carolina. I did live in North Carolina for a while.
Right. How did you become involved in working with the American Cancer Society?
Well, I went back to school later in life, and for my internship, I worked at the American Cancer Society, and it was very enlightening to me because I didn't really realize what the American Cancer Society did. So from there, I started volunteering because I saw the need for volunteers in certain areas, and actually I started volunteering for the gala that they had at the time. And that's how I got involved, and after I got out of school, I went to work with them.
Great. So you...
Well, it was much later after I got out of school, but...
Right.
But that was my first experience with the American Cancer Society.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. When did you join the staff of the Cancer Society, and what had you been doing prior to that? Obviously, you were in school. And
I was in school, but I worked mostly in the clinical field in health care, and I worked with the American Red Cross for a number of years. And I wanted to get in on the other side, and it was completely different from me. It's not the clinical side anymore. It's more the relationships with people and the fundraising side, and it has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it, and I can I can go to bed at night feeling that I'm doing something worthwhile. You know, and that's important to me.
And you can see that happening. Oftentimes, folks are anxious because they feel there's such a small cog in a very large wheel, and that they just don't feel like they're having that impact. But you really feel it.
Yes, I do. I do, and I see it. I see it with the people in the community.
Where is the American Cancer Society's Southeast Division located, and what regions does the Southeast Division cover?
Well, our particular region covers Horry, Georgetown, Florence, Marion, Dillon. It goes on up to Scotland and Robinson County.
Wow. You've got Darlington and...
Darlington, that's right.
Marlboro,
I knew Marlboro.
Williamsburg. It's a huge... I think I saw that. Excuse me. I mean, when you think about the aspect of that, it's so large. I think there are 10 or 12 counties. It's
that's
probably,
right.
You just know you're out there in the community. You really don't even need to know the name or everything associated with it. When you think about the responsibilities of the community income manager in that region, you're out in all those counties.
Well, actually, I'm focused more on Horry and Georgetown counties.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm out in Horry and Georgetown County, mostly the Grand Strand area too.
Why do you think it's important for our community to support the efforts of the American Cancer Society? Well,
the American Cancer Society does a lot more for the community than people realize. We have a lot of programs out there. For instance, we have Look Good, Feel Better program. That is a program for women that are going through chemotherapy, dealing with any type of cancer. They're losing their hair, and we give them a complete makeover, give them over $300 worth of of cosmetics, give them free wigs, prosthesis, anything that they need at no cost to them. And it's a wonderful experience for them because when you lose all your hair, you have to do things differently so far as makeup goes and things like that. So they're taught how to do that. That's just one of our programs. We have Reach to Recovery. That's when we pair a newly diagnosed person with cancer with a person that has been through it, and they are kind of a mentor and they have somebody to reach out to. Also, we have a grant program. We have scholarship programs for if a person was diagnosed under the age of 18, they can get college scholarships. Even if they wait till the age of 40 to go to college, they can still get scholarships. We are real big into research. Excuse me. And we have funded many researchers over the years. In fact, we funded the researcher that developed the PAP test, and we funded the researcher that developed tamoxifen, which is a very important drug right now for breast cancer patients, and funded over 33 Nobel Prize winners. So,
golly.
We're the largest funders of research other than the U.S. government.
Is that right? Michele, well, that's got to be satisfying to go to bed at night. I mean, just with that aspect in mind, all of those amazing discoveries.
It really is. It's really awesome.
If a viewer wanted to learn more about the American Cancer Society, is there a website where someone could to go?
www.cancer.org.
Okay. What are some of the things they'd find on the site?
All sorts of things, all types of material about cancer. Also, they have a chat room where you can talk to other people that have cancer and are going through it. We also have a telephone number 24 hours a day, 1-800-ACS-2345. And that's a wonderful tool for, I've heard cancer patients tell me that they couldn't sleep during the night. They didn't want to wake up their husband or whatever. They'd call that number. And sometimes they just wanted to hear a voice. Sometimes they wanted resources that they could get in their area, or just a friend, to talk to. And it's a wonderful tool for.
And that's a 24-hour number?
Yes.
1-800-ACS-2345.
That's right.
How valuable.
I know. That's wonderful.
That's amazing. That's something that every large national charity should have, because I'm sure, they really, when you think about that aspect, late at night, not being able to sleep, worried that you may not wake up the next morning. Some of those thoughts.
That's right. And there are professionals on the other line too, and they know what they're talking about. So.
What prompted you to take on the job as community income manager, Michele?
Well, it was so different from what I have done before, but I love to work with people. I love to work with, and what I do mostly is work with volunteers. And these people are wonderful, the most wonderful people I have met, because they're giving their time. They're not getting paid for it, because they care about what goes on in their world, and that's just very rewarding to me.
You talked about your previous experience having been in a clinical program, right? How is that? That's been a pretty dramatic shift there. How has that been? And
it's really been wonderful. I never would have thought a few years ago that I would enjoy this so much, but I really do. It's just a total change in the way I look at things. In some ways it's the same, because you're still dealing with people and touching people's lives. To
be able to give the practical experience side to folks when you're out talking about raising money, I'm sure that helps bring a lot to the table.
It does.
Right.
It does.
That must be very valuable. Where are the funds spent that are raised here in our community?
In the programs that I mentioned earlier, we have those programs. Also, I meant to mention this too, Road to Recovery. That is a valuable program for cancer patients needing a ride to their treatments, and that's a big need in our area. In fact, one of our presenting sponsors for the Cattle Barons Ball is funding that in our area. So, it's given the money to fund that in our area, because they really believe it, and that's well, I'll let them talk about that later.
Dr. Bass is coming in tomorrow to talk about that. Well, that's great. So they're able to earmark funds for their sponsorship
Yes.
levels to a certain program.
Yes, that's right.
Great.
We can do that.
Michelle, what are some of the fundraisers that you're involved in as the community income manager?
Well, we're involved with Relays for Life, and I have 4 in this area, and it's a 12-hour overnight team community event that we celebrate cancer survivorship. And the cancer survivors are the kings and queens of the night, and we honor them the whole night. It's a lot of fun. We have many teams that raise the money, and they have fundraising events at the relays, and so the whole community is invited to come out. But we stay up awake all night, walk the track all night. We walk in circles because there's not a finish line until there's a cure for cancer. We stay up all night because cancer never sleeps.
Wow, those are powerful words. When you think about all the excitement, real quick, we've got about 2 minutes. Relay for Life and the excitement of being out in a community and helping folks recognize that there's not yet a cure for cancer, and there's so many different forms of cancer. What's that like for you, Michelle?
It's awesome, but it's rewarding too to give hope to people. We had just recently had an event, the fashion show with cancer survivors, and it gave hope to people that that diagnosis of cancer is not necessarily the end.
Right. Michelle, if a viewer wanted to volunteer or attend at this Saturday night's Cattle Barons Ball, who would they best call?
Yes, they can call me at 213-0333.
Okay, that's 843-213-0333. And lastly, Michelle, what do you like best about what you're doing?
The people. I like to be around the people. I like to see the changes in people and what are the events and what the American Cancer Society is doing to touch people's lives.
You heard Michele Winstead say it. Cancer never sleeps. There's a real effort to make change in the community, and it's happening daily. And this Saturday night's Cattle Barons Ball is a great example of that. Thanks for being with us this morning, Michelle.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to Debra Hesla coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at Pine Lakes International Country Club. We're focused on this Saturday night's American Cancer Society Cattle Barons Ball, and we're visiting with Debra Hesla, the co-chair of the ball. Good morning,
Yes,
Debra.
good morning, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming in to think about you, and
Exciting.
obviously Michelle coming in this morning to think about all the impact
Right.
that what y'all are doing this Saturday night will have on the community and have on so many folks around the country, around the world.
Well, we've seen a lot of excitement about this event, which is exciting for us, because when we first started with this concept, it was just kind of, people thought, cows in Myrtle Beach was one comment we heard and things like that. But people have really gotten behind it, and the committees used their imagination to really make this, it's going to be just a fabulous event.
And what a setting. What about Pine Lakes?
It's perfect. I mean, you couldn't get a better setting. We have so much. They've been gracious enough to not only do we have the inside, but the entire outside, to set up all the events that we're going to have, the different events. So we're going to be basically using the whole club.
Amazing. It is truly amazing. Ken Stinson's coming in tomorrow to talk about some of the aspects that the club can open up for. And I think
Right.
Michelle was talking about before we went on earlier, talking about some of the exciting things that will be happening this week,
Right.
this weekend. But we sure want to hear it from you. About yourself, Debra. You originally from the area?
No, I'm not. I originally am from the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia.
How long have you been in the greater Myrtle Beach area?
For 12 years.
Is that right?
12 years.
What brought you to the area, and what were you doing before your move here?
Well, right before my move here, I was the marketing director for the Wilds Golf Course and Community in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the beach.
Yeah, sure.
After living in Minnesota for 3 long winters,
Oh, my God.
I was ready for a warmer climate. And also the booming golf industry. I thought there'd be a lot of opportunities for me here with my background.
Absolutely. So you'd been in golf for the 3 years prior to coming here. Had you ever worked
Yes.
in golfing before that?
Not before then, no.
Right.
I was in the suntan industry.
Oh, great. Yeah. And obviously being in the suntan industry, when you think about attractions to the area, that and golf, you really...
Yeah, and plus the entertainment. I knew that the theaters were booming, and they were just getting built.
Right.
And I just knew there was a lot of development, probably a need for a marketing and PR person. So,
when you think about originally stepping up to the plate to get involved with the American Cancer Society, having been here 12 years, you'd begun to see the impact they have on the community. What directly prompted you to get active as a volunteer?
Well, actually, I was on the Cattle Bearing Committee in Dallas, Texas in 1984, and I was on the board for that event. And we had it at South Fork, and it was during Dallas's heyday, and Larry Hagman was there, and it was it was a great event. And I was walking on the beach one day with Michelle and Becky Bellamy, my other co-chair, and we were just talking about, she mentioned the Cattle Barons Ball, and I mentioned that I had been on the committee in Dallas, and they raise about $2.5 million a year in the Dallas chapter.
$2.5 million with the Cattle Barons Ball?
With just the Cattle Barons Ball.
No
it is absolutely the event in Dallas. I mean, you have to go if you live there.
Yeah. So, and you were on that committee back in 1984.
1984.
Almost 20 years ago, to think about.
Well, you don't have to.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, excuse me. That's right. We can add on Carolina People. Obviously, that aspect, now, to be able to bring that experience about having been associated with the largest one in the country, and this being one of the largest fundraisers for the American Cancer Society, what do you think you've been able to bring to the table? Have you brought some aspects that they'd never even contemplated?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I've tried to talk about the things that we did. And of course, we're doing a lot of new things too. As the event has evolved and different chapters have gotten involved in that event, it's just a lot better than it even could have thought about being in the 80s with all the different things we have.
And when viewers hear the words denim to diamonds, they're really going to see a broad mix this Saturday night out here.
That is going to be the absolute set us apart from every gala is the attire. Because that leaves it open from buckskin and boots to western chic, and of course, you can wear a hat with anything. And if you're going to ride the mechanical bull, you better wear a little padding.
Oh, golly. Now, have you ridden the bull before?
I have. That's another story.
That's right. We're not going to get into that. How does the Cattle Barons Ball differ from a traditional gala event?
Well, not only the attire is going to be different. Of course, the menu will be a little bit different with a little Western gourmet, and also just allows so many different events to take place. We're going to have a butt sketcher that actually comes instead of doing your face.
Oh, wow!
So it's a real fun thing, and the mechanical bull, and gaming, entertainment. We're going to have some just world-class entertainment. We have Billy Scott and the Prophets, which were originally the Georgia Prophets, and then also our own Charlie Floyd is going to play.
Great. I think I saw Charlie Floyd's on from 7 to 9, and the Billy Scott and the Prophets gets roaring at 9.
Right. So there'll be lots of different kinds of dancing, and it's just going to be a lot of fun.
That'll be a big night, and I think Michelle's husband, PG, is coming in later this week, maybe on Thursday, to talk about being the sheriff. There's something going on.
So we're going to have a jail, and people can arrest you, and you have to pay to get out of jail, and it's going to be a lot of fun. There's just so many different activities.
You think this broader appeal provides a better platform for having a big event?
I do. There are so many black tie galas in Myrtle Beach, and people just, especially men. I think men are excited about this event because they can bring out their cowboy boots that they bought out west, some place hunting, or wear their hats they've always wanted to wear. And so I think that's been getting the men excited about it, I think.
Guys like to get dressed up, I think, probably because they like to see ladies get dressed up.
Well, but ladies can still dress up. I mean, you'll see a wide variety. Like it says, denim diamonds. You're going to see everything.
Absolutely.
So, and it allows people to use their imagination.
How'd y'all decide on Billy Scott and the Prophets? That's such a, for denim to diamonds, he covers such a broad array. But
he does. And that's another reason that we incorporated Charlie Floyd, was to give it that flavor, that Western flavor. But also, Billy Scott and the Prophets is a great band, and people in the Myrtle Beach area love their beach music, too. So we wanted everybody to be entertained.
Now, will you all take full advantage of the compliments, the setup of Pine Lakes International?
Yes, we will. Weather permitting, we will be using about every inch there is to use.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to be set up all over the grounds and inside with the auctions. We'll, of course, be inside, and most of the activities will take place outside, and then we'll have also the bands will be out in a tent on the grounds.
When you think about, golly, Deborah, we're 5 days away from the event. You and Becky are just hopping. To think
Yes,
about
we're
that,
hopping, all right.
the extent of that, I mean, to know that many months ago you began the planning of this, and now to be so close to the event, what are you going to do over the next 5 days, and then what's it going to be like afterwards?
Well, the next 5 days, everything we've talked about for the last year practically, or 9 months, will be implemented.
Mm-hmm.
So all the work is now coming in these next 5 days of setting everything up and making sure everything's on go.
Mm-hmm. Can you share with the viewers a little bit about some of the items that will be donated for the silent auction to get folks excited? If they don't yet have tickets, obviously they can call in, but what are some of the silent auction items that have been donated?
Well, we have all kinds of things that have been donated, and I think that you're going to have someone from that committee later on that can be more specific.
Mm-hmm.
But we have jewelry and artwork and hunting trips, fishing trips, all kinds. We're real excited with our silent auction.
Do you all still need volunteers for the evening, Deborah?
We absolutely need volunteers. They will be able to we'll have a nice meal for them, and they'll get to share in the fun. But, you know, of course, they'll have to work some too. But I think it's a good opportunity for people that would like to see what the event's all about to come and see.
What are some of the different things that they'd be doing, and who would they want to call if they were interested in volunteering?
Well, with all the different events that we're having, we're going to need, you know, people at each station. So they should call Michele Winstead at the American Cancer Society, 213-0333.
Exactly, 843-213-0333, and Michelle's a perfect contact for anything if they wanted to volunteer. If
whether
they
it's
want to buy
sponsorships, tickets, or volunteers, we need it all.
And y'all, do you think there's still some more openings available for the event?
Yes, ticket sales are going really, really well,
Right.
but we are not completely sold out yet. Of course, we have room for a lot more people than most events.
And that's another great reason for having it here, of
Right.
course, to be the Denim to Diamonds idea, to be able to spread it out over so much area and not have folks fixated in a room where your head count is fixed.
Right, and that, again, it allows us to have just a lot more people. So everybody come. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Great. We've got about 3 minutes, Deborah. For volunteers who may want to be out here but not be manning the mechanical bull or not be holding the jail cell down, are there some things that they could do that would be less strenuous?
Yeah, a lot of people will just be walking around making sure that everything's going well and helping with the silent auction and the live auction. So, yeah, there'll be quite a few opportunities for volunteers.
Great, great. Deborah, do you have a fundraising goal for the Cattle Barons Ball?
Well, yes, our goal was to double last year's, what the gala did last year, and we are almost there right now. That's without the ticket sales. So we're real confident that we're going to reach our goal and hopefully go way beyond.
Mm-hmm. And
that's exciting.
Yeah, that must be. And, of course, just to think, you know, as we get close to the event and you remembering back, I hate to say it again, 20 years ago, I mean, to think about that excitement. Of course, Larry Hagman won't be here, but there'll be a lot of folks
you never know. He shows up in
oh, my God. He shows up in strange places. That's right.
You never know who'll pop in.
I know. That'll be a big night. Deborah, lastly, what do you like best about what you're doing?
I really like serving, you know, the community and helping awareness for cancer. I lost both of my maternal grandparents to cancer, and so it's something that's very, very close to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone mentioned it, but this event is going to be an annual event.
Great.
So
Good.
it's going to be the Cattle Barons Ball from now on, we hope. And each year will be a variation of themes. Like this year is the Diamonds to Denim, and then next year they'll choose another theme.
Great.
So it will be an ongoing event.
Fantastic. You heard Deborah say it. If you can't be here this weekend for the Cattle Barons Ball, this will be going on many years, you can call the American Cancer Society now to arrange sponsorships or donations for next year even.
Or volunteer to be on the committee for next year.
Absolutely. inspired by the loss of her maternal grandparents and thinking about the ability to give back and to serve a community, Debra Hesla, co-chair with Becky Bellamy of this Saturday night's Cattle Barons Ball. Debra, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg. Nice seeing you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Michele Winstead of the American Cancer Society and Debra Hesla, the co-chair of this Saturday night's Cattle Barons Ball, for making today's Carolina People so special.